Hi there, this is Tammy. Welcome back to my channel. This is Tammy's Crafty Life. Today I'm doing a finish with me video. In previous videos I've showed you two finishes I did using a block finish. This is Deck the Halls by Primrose Cottage Stitches, and this is Christmas Barn, also by Primrose Cottage Stitches. So today I'm going to show you how to do this. And I am going to use this design. This is Love Family Home by, I'm pretty sure it's Little House Needleworks. If that's wrong, I'll add that in the description box below. So I recently finished this. It's been on one of my videos where I showed it as a finish. I apologize for the clicking. My dog is pacing the floor, which when I start talking, he tends to do that. So let me show you what you need to do this. The block is created using foam core board, and I bought this on Amazon. I buy 12 by 18 inch sheets. This is 3/8 of an inch thick. We're going to stack these up. I also use this cutter. You can use any kind of a really sharp razor knife. You will need some batting. This is Warm and Natural. It's quilt batting, but it's pretty thin. And you'll need backing fabric. This is what I've chosen to use to go with this. And then you'll need trims. And I have some contenders here. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to wait until I get it closer to being done. These are all from Hobby Lobby. And the other thing I'm going to use is this 505 temporary spray adhesive for fabric. I got this at Craft Warehouse. I think they have it at Hobby Lobby. It does say temporary, but this is never going to be washed, and it would be washed out is how it's not temporary. I don't know what else we might need. We'll see as we go along. Excuse me. So the first thing I have to do is figure out what size I want this to be. And I decided to go out for, this is Ada. It's 18, I think it's 18 count Ada. I decided to go out 4 threads, and we're going to mark this on the back. My dog is being very nosy right now. We're going to mark this on the back so that we can determine the right size of foam core board, because we want it to be the right size for this. I've already done that. I counted out 4 squares on all 4 sides, and I marked it with a pencil. And with Ada, the easiest way to mark it, and this is on the back so you'll never see it, is to use this kind of a pencil, a mechanical pencil. It's likely to break, and I'll show you when I make the next line how easy this was. So I've already done this part, and then I measured this, and this is how I determined the size I needed. This is 4 7/8 by 6 inches. And how thick you make your block is up to you. I think these are 5 pieces thick. When I took a class to learn this, she used 4. This one might, are these the same size? These are the same size. I'm pretty sure these are 5. For this one I decided to use 6, and I've already cut them. So let's see. He's being very restless, that's why he's pacing. So I've already marked this, and I've already cut my foam core board. I just use a quilting ruler and this knife to cut the foam core board. And this cuts through it like butter. It's really cool how it cuts. Now I had to decide how big my fabric needs to be to wrap around the block. I decided I stacked these up, and they measure 1 1/4 inches. So I decided I want my fabric to wrap around 3/4 of an inch. That part is up to you. We're also going to put the batting on it, so that will take away a little bit of it. That's why I did 3/4 instead of half. I wanted enough fabric to work with when I'm doing the edges. So the next thing I need to do is mark this fabric for cutting, and I want 3/4 of an inch on each side. So I'm going to use, which ruler? I'm going to use this quilting ruler. This one is just 1 inch long, and I'm only using it to determine where the first mark is. I'm not using it to draw a line on this. My fabric is kind of cattywampus, and I just want to know where 3/4 of an inch is, and I'm going to pick a line there. So I put my pencil there. It is on one of the holes, and then if you just drag your pencil down, it'll stay inside that hole. And I'm going to do the same thing the other way. And I'm going to do this on all 4 sides. If you're using linen, you would mark it similarly, and then with linen you can pull out a thread where your line is to determine your cut line. So this time I'm going right here and here. Yes, it's staying in that line, which is nice. And 3/4 of an, oh, if you're paying attention, I just did this one wrong. I did this one at 1 inch instead of 3/4 of an inch. So I need to mark 3/4, not 1. On this particular block, since I'm doing 6, it might not have mattered. That extra 1/4 of an inch might not have mattered. So I'm going to ignore this line. This line will be gone when I cut anyway. And 3/4. Now my dog is eating, so hopefully you're not having to hear him. So that's that part. And one last line, 3/4 of an inch. I stayed on that pretty well. And because this is Ada and my fabric is a little cattywampus, I'm going to cut this with scissors. These are my fabric scissors. And also, this doesn't matter if it's perfectly straight. This edge does not matter, because you're not going to see it when we're done. And let's see. Okay. Trying to make sure I keep all of my stuff in the camera. Trying to figure out what other kind of finish with me videos I want to do. The only other one I think I've done, I know when I did a strawberry earlier this year, I did it on camera. I haven't done a drum. And then most of my finishes, my cross stitch finishes, end up on decorative wood pieces, and I've shown you those, but I don't think I've done any on camera. So I might have to evaluate my next finishes and see if I can do finish with me videos. So there, that is all cut, and it's a good size to wrap around. The next thing we're going to do is actually assemble our block. So the way you assemble these is with a glue stick. The reason to use a glue stick instead of liquid glue is because liquid glue is wet. It can cause some warping, and we don't want anything to warp. And this glue is not going to touch any of our fabric in any way. So put that on there. And I didn't buy this glue because it's purple. It came that way. I didn't even have an option. It does dry clear. And you might be seeing my edges are a little bit off. I've found it really hard to cut foam core board without having like an angle, to have it perfectly straight instead of angled when you're cutting it. I have found that to be very difficult. And I've tried many different ways to be sure I'm holding my blade perfectly straight, but in the end it's not going to matter, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm done. I think I'm done with this. Okay, so see there's, I think you can see that. There's some little, the ridges are not perfect, but all this is going to be covered with fabric. And what matters the most is that the bottom is as straight as possible. But I'm going to do this multiple ways, and then we're going to take masking tape. I had to remember where I put it. Here's a tip for filming videos. Clean off your desk before you do it. I did not do that, and this space right here in the camera is all that's clean, which is making it a little challenging. My everything I need to film this video is stacked on top of other things, which could be precarious. So just a little tip. I was wanting to do this, and I'm also in the midst of trying to purge a bunch of stuff, so I'm like out of places to put things that are coming and going, and I have messes everywhere that are making me crazy, and I really need to take the time, stop doing actual crafting and take the time to finish getting rid of some of my messes and getting some stuff out of the house. So this is going to be covered by fabric also. Well, first it's going to be covered by batting. So the tape is only going to touch the fabric on these ends, and it's not going to matter. So this is just holding it all together until the glue has a chance to dry, but we're just going to leave it in there. So here's my block. That's it. Next I need to put on batting, and I'm going to, there's a couple ways to do this. If I had cut my batting the exact right size, it would have been easier, because then I could spray the glue on my batting, but I did not do that. So I'm going to spray it on here, and I have this piece of cardboard that's what I use it for. I'm not going to spray right here, you're not going to see it. There's a computer monitor right here that I get paid to work at during the week, so I am not going to spray glue around right in front of it. So there's my first spray, and I'm going to lay my batting down and then put this on it. And turn it over and smooth it out. And then I'm gonna trim this before I do the other side. We'll see if these scissors will work to do this. That works pretty slick. I want to be careful with the scissors because it's really easy to cut into this foam core board, and I do not want to do that. Make sure I'm staying in the camera. I probably should have raised my camera up a little bit. I might stop and do that. Okay, I raised it up just a little bit because it was down a little too close. So I'm going to spray this again. Sorry for the noise, I just dropped something. The other side this time. The reason I dropped something is because, as I said, I have stuff piled on top of stuff, and that's where that cardboard was on top of something. And then I'm going to put this on here, smooth it on, and trim. Oh, I missed a side. Thought I did 4 sides. Guess I only did 3. So there's my block. all ready to go. So the next thing I'm going to do is put my cross stitch fabric on it. And for that, I'm going to spray this. And let me see. And to do that, since I just sprayed my board and it's already sticky, I don't want to lay my cross stitch fabric on there. I just got something in the mail and it was in this. So I'm going to put this on here and then I'm going to spray this. Again, I can't do it on camera because of the computer monitor right there. So what I have is a light coating. I don't know if you can see it. It shows up kind of white. A light coating on there. I'm going to take this, lay it here, figure out a place to put this. There's a place. And then I'm going to take, and this is still a little cattywampus. It's like this fabric, this cross stitch fabric isn't really straight, which is a little bit annoying. But so I have this line here, and this in theory should line up right inside it. So let's see if I can do that. That looks pretty good to me. I have a little bit off like that. So I'm going to press that down. And then I'm going to just go like this. Let's see, I got to keep this on camera when I do it. There is adhesive on all of this. So I'm going to take this and just fold it over. And then I'm going to take this side and fold it over. All four, oh, this side didn't stick when I did that. So I'm holding this down. Press that down. Do this to all four sides. And then after I do that, I'm going to look at it and see how it's straight or crooked or whatever on this block. This does not want to stay. This fabric is really stiff, and I think that's why I'm having an issue, but I have a way to fix it, so I'll leave that there. Sorry, I bumped the camera. And I have these little pins. These are sequined pins. I think they're about 3/4 of an inch long. And these will not show on the end result. So first I want to try to see if this looks straight. This top line doesn't really have a straight line that I have to worry about. This bottom one, I really feel like that looks pretty good except for the heart in the middle. So I'm going to pull on that a little bit. Poke myself with a pin. Put some pins in the lid because there's too many in here, and these are tiny, tiny little pins. I don't want to show you the bottom of my hand. My hands are ugly right now. Let's see. So I'm going to pull on that a little bit, and I'm going to stick a pin right there. And I'm actually going to leave this pin in here because, as I said, nobody's going to see it when you're done. And because this, if you have a linen or a looser fabric and you don't have the straight lines you have to worry about, if you have a fabric that's not this stiff, I should say, instead of looser, it's going to stick really well right here, and you're not going to be having these issues that I'm having right now. So it's because this fabric is too stiff. So I'm going to stick pins on all sides. They're kind of hard for me to pick up because they're so tiny. Tiny, tiny. Really? Should not be that difficult to pick up a pin. So that's that. Maybe I should just have them on the desk and they'll be easier to pick up. This is, I can see that I need to pull this a little bit. Not based on the line of stitching, but based on the line of Ada, because it's obvious that it's a little crooked. It's not as obvious as if there were a stitched line right here. Now I hear my cat outside yelling at me because he wants food. And the cat makes the dog talk, so if you hear what sounds like a monkey, it's actually my dog talking to the cat. I'll put them on this side also. Start in the middle. There's some big pins in there that don't belong. And oops, I got 2 pins. That one. And I want to be sure and push them in all the way so they don't impede anything. I don't want them to show when I'm done. I don't want there to be a bump there. Oh, one more side. And one more pin. Actually, I could use that to push them in. That works pretty good. Using my pencil eraser. That's easier than trying to get my fingernail there. Okay, now I'm going to look at this. I think it looks really good. I'm happy with it this way. So then for your corners, you take the corners, they have glue on them. Take the corners and pinch them together and then fold it in. And you have 2 options here. The way that I was taught was to put glue stick on there. I need a piece of paper. Oh, I'll use my waste. I should have prepared my desktop so that I wouldn't mess up the surface. So just stick that on there like that. Fold it in. And it'll kind of stay by itself, but I'm still going to stick a pin in there anyway, right in the tip. I'm going to try to stick a pin in there. It doesn't want to go. See, it didn't stay that well because the glue stick has to set up. That was a little hard on my finger. These sequin pins are very tiny. So they have tiny little flat heads. Fold it over. Get a pin. Are we still in the camera? Yes, I'm still in the camera. Get a pin because it doesn't want to stay. And do the same thing on this side. And if you're having a hard time with this, you can take a toothpick. I didn't get those out, but you can take a toothpick and use it to put your glue on there. Well, in theory. And then fold that over. Pin it down. If you have a linen project that has straight lines in the stitching, like a border or other kinds of straight lines, I would still put it down with glue, but then I would probably put the whole side down with pins, the same way if you were pinning it to frame it, because you can't you can't stretch it because we're not wrapping it all the way around to be able to stretch it, but I would use pins all the way around to try to make all my lines line up straight. And these little sequin pins, there's like, I don't know, 300 of them or something in there, so one package should last for several projects. One more pin. Okay, get that out of the way for the moment. Get this out of the way for the moment. And there I have the first part done. So if you're just looking at it like this, it could be all the way done. Excuse me. No, I'm not sick. I have horrible allergies, and sometimes they're worse than others, so they make my nose run and other things happen. So there's that part. And the next part is to take your backing fabric, and this I cut to the same size as my cross stitch piece. So with my 3/4 of an inch added all the way around, this is 7.5 wide by 6 3/4. And I am again going to spray the same way that I did the other one. So there's my little surface for spraying my glue on there. You don't want to saturate the fabric. You don't want it to be wet. But you want it to be glued. And I want to let it dry for a couple of seconds so it's tacky. I want it to be tacky. And I'm trying to decide, here's another piece of the fabric. I'm trying to decide on these trims, which trim I might want to put on here. This one I got home without the, I don't know, these came from Hobby Lobby. Got home without the back for this, but it makes it easy to get this off. Well, I thought it did. It's still stuck on there well. And this one. These guys are not that easy to get off unless you can get your scissors under them like that. I want to do that to all of these so I can decide which trim I like the best. It's stuck on there. And this is lace. So I might do a combination of two things. So there's all these different things that I could put on there. This one's satin. Doesn't want to cooperate with me. These are a velveteen that is frayed on the edges, and I used this on a different one. This has basically just green and brown in it, so I was trying to decide if I want to accent the green or the brown, and I think I'm going to wait till I have this fabric on before I decide which one to use. And I'm leaning towards these instead of this because I like the frayed edges on it. And I still might do something with this one. So this has had a little bit of time to get tacky. So I'm going to take this, and that side isn't very sticky, which is a little bit annoying. This I don't have to be as precise because I don't have lines that I need to line up. But I still want to have about the same all the way around. So I'm going to go on the back, smooth it on, And then you can either do the same thing I did the first time, or you can just like smooth the fabric over the edge. Either way works. This way seems to be quicker maybe. And then this fabric is very pretty. Again, I'm going to do the corners. So, and when you're doing this, you kind of want this to overlap this a little bit, and that is depends on what you're using for trim and how wide your trim is. This could even overlap more if you wanted, and if you were going to use a narrow trim that you wanted by the edge, you would want this to overlap farther. So what you're doing is covering up this raw edge of your fabric. So I'm going to do these corners the opposite way this time. And I'm just gonna, so this one I'm gonna cut off. See how when I lay this down, how angled it is? I'm gonna cut it so it's more straight with this, or I'm gonna try to, I should say. That's better. I'm just gonna put that on there with a pin. Well, I could put a little bit of glue in there. My toothpick. Get some glue, put a little bit in there, and then do this. And put a pin in there. This side is not sticking very well, so it's going to need more pins. I glued the whole thing. I mean, I sprayed the whole thing, but somehow it didn't get a lot on here, so I'm just going to stick a couple of pins in here to be sure that it stays. Oops. Wow, that pin bent. That was weird. Bent very easily. So did I do both? I didn't do this side, did I? No, I did not. This corner did not stick together the right way. So I'm going to open it back up. So I want it to stick together like this. It stuck together in a different way. And I decided I was going this way, so I need to cut off a little bit of an angle because for some reason when I'm folding these corners, they're not quite right. So I'll put a little bit of glue in there. Well, it's not all in there. Put a pin in there. Pin doesn't want to go. There we go. And then on this side, I'll put a little bit of glue in here. I was just thinking, somewhere I have a little, they're made by Mary Kay, they're like a makeup spatula. They might work easier than these toothpicks are working for me, to actually spread the glue a little bit. Somewhere I have one. And then this one. Fumble fingers, almost spilled the pins. Okay. Put this down. One more pin. There. So I have my fabric on there. And see, you cannot tell that my edges were not all perfectly even on my my blocks. So now I'm ready for my trim, and you can see on this one I used a pom-pom trim, and it's underneath this burlap ribbon, and so I put glue. I used fabric glue and put it. The pom-pom trim has an edge that you can cut off or take off another way. I used the edge of the pom-pom trim to glue down, to put glue under it to hold this on, and then I covered up the edge of the pom-pom trim with this burlap ribbon. On this one, I just used this ribbon. I didn't put anything else under there. And what I'm wondering on this one is, first of all, do I want brown or do I want green on here? Even though there's green in the fabric and the stitching, I really like the brown with those colors. And I feel like this is the perfect width. And now my next thought is, do I want to put this under it before I put the brown on? Do I want this along the edge? And then this on top? And I could go either way, but I think I really like it just like this. Because it already has this fringe on it, I don't need to add anything else. So what I'm going to do is put that aside. I'm going to figure out how much I need. Here's what I'll do. I will lay it out. Lay it out like this. And then I will go like this. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to have that much because I'm going to, oops, klutzy, because I'm going to tie a bow. Ugh. I am the most clumsy person I know, and sometimes it drives me crazy. So I'm going to do this. Just eyeballing it because I can cut these off when I'm done. And I'm going to use fabric glue because I like the way it works. I think. Do I want to use fabric glue? It's going to be tied on, so I don't need to. So I'm going to use this. And I'm going to go like this and get a line of glue on there. I want to make it, this will dry clear, but I do want to make it so, like, I probably went too far with that. And then I'm finding the middle. Finding the middle. Make sure I have the right side up. And I'm going to lay this on here. And I'm going to stand up because I can't really see it that well. And I'll do the same thing on this side. Oops, be careful where I get this glue. And this ribbon is funny, it's messy. Because it's frayed, it makes all these, I don't even know if you can see them, but it makes all these little pieces that fly everywhere. So I'm going to lay this on here. And I'm trying to center this, doing better on some parts than others. Get you back in the camera. So I'm glued down on 3 sides, and I'm not gonna, so do I want, I'm gonna tie a bow. I don't think I want it right in the middle. I want it off to the side, because I like things to be a little cattywampus. So I'm gonna put some glue there, and I'm gonna put some glue here, but I'm not, I got it where I don't want it to. I'm not gonna put glue yet right where the knot's going to be, because I don't really want it to be in my way. So I'm going to take this, go like this, and then I'll take this one. Oh, this has some ugly on this side. I'll cut off the ugly. This, put it right here, hoping that it's covering my pins, and then I'm going to start my knot. Tying a knot with wide ribbon when it's on something is not my favorite thing to do, and it's not my best way to tie a knot. Or a bow. I'm not tying a knot, I'm tying a bow. So I like that. And then, see, this is the back side of the ribbon. This is the front side. I want my bow to be correct. So I turned that over, and then I'm going to flip this around. This ribbon is nice because you can't really tell, you won't be able to tell that this part right here is not the velveteen side. And there are ways to do that, but it's harder to do it with wide ribbon than with a narrow ribbon. I would have no trouble doing that, but with velveteen it's harder to do. Let's see, this should go this way. And I shouldn't have started in the middle of the ribbon, since I put my bow off to the side, which is making it a little funky here. But it'll be fine. So keep fiddling. Bows are things that you can keep fiddling with as long as you need to. So I think I'm going to be done fiddling with that though. And then on the front, you can see this one is already kind of cut, well, almost cut the way I want it. I don't have a lot to work with there, so I'm just going to cut off a little bit. And I'll make this one kind of the same. And that's it. On this one, these are from Just Another Button Company, and these 3 pins came in one package, and I think they add a lot because this is a Christmas stitch. This one I just put the bow on top. I didn't do anything else. And this bow is so big that I can't think what I might want to put on top of there. But I also, so I could have used a thinner ribbon and gotten a different effect. But I really like this ribbon with this. So I think I'm happy with it just like this. Let me know what you think. And as I said earlier, if you have ideas for different kinds of finishing videos you would like me to show, let me know in the comments below, because I'm happy to do them. Most of the time I just sit down and spend a day finishing, and it does take longer to finish on video, but I still could do it. So let me know, and let me know what you think about this. I think it's very pretty. Oh, one more thing. This one is standing up very nicely. No trouble. If it was skinnier, let's see how this one stands up. This one stands up pretty good. But if you were having issues, you could take, and I don't need to on either one of these. Okay, I thought I had two of these pins that popped out of here. You can take these kinds of pins. See that pin? And you can put either just 2 in the front for feet, or you can put 4 on the bottom to make feet with these little round-headed pins. I really thought there was 2 that popped out of there, but hopefully that doesn't mean... Oh, there is 2. The other one didn't pop out. And I wouldn't use both of these because neither one of them matches, but you could just put this in here. So you would put those 2 there, and if you wanted to do 4, this right here makes it stand up better. And if you wanted to do 4, you would put the other 2 inset a little bit. But as you can see, this one stands up perfect, so I don't need to do that. And so if you're doing, these are both 5 layers of foam core board. This one is 6. If you were doing 4 because you wanted it thinner, you might need to do the pins for the feet to make it stand up, or put it on an easel. But these are my block finishes, the 3 that I have done. So as I said, let me know what you think. I hope you liked this video, and I'm not sure, my next video will be just one of my regular videos, I believe, and I'm not sure if that will be next week or the week after. We'll see how my schedule goes. I think that's it. So thank you so much for watching. Happy stitching, and I forgot what I was going to say. So happy stitching, and bye for now.